Is it just me, or does Chainsaw Man finally feel like it's starting to wrap up all of its loose ends now with the sword hybrid coming back, and can't help but get this nice little feeling that we might actually finally get to see power return soon? But I'll get into that a little bit later because that's a bit of a crackpot theory. But if you are new here, make sure to subscribe. We cover manga content on this channel all the time. Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, and studies show that there is a massive boost in PP energy when you subscribe to this channel, so you may as well just hit the button while you're here. But without further ado, let's just get into the video. This chapter opens up off the back of the last chapter with the sword hybrid, who is now known as Miri, making himself known to Denji, who quite frankly has zero idea who he is, even after Miri telling him that they fought against each other when Denji was actually fighting Makima. But we all know that that form that Denji took at that point to be known as Chainsaw Man Black, and is a seemingly separate entity from Chainsaw Man Red, because Chainsaw Man Red's memories cross over with Denji, but Chainsaw Man's Blacks don't, except for some sort of instinctive fight. You know, he's just sort of along for the ride. It's very confusing at the moment, and that was a little bombshell that happened a couple of chapters ago, but I'm not ready to get into that one yet. But it turns out Miri is actually introduced into Denji's classroom, and he will actually be his new classmate, with him introducing himself, saying his hobbies are running, playing the piano, and he's also not here to make friends, and then calls the class trash. And of course, the girls in the class apparently love that one because, I don't know, sure, why not? And the next panel shows them all swooning over him. But before this, one of them mentions how Miri actually looks like a fusion of the student council president, Haruka, and Denji. And also at the same time, you can see all of the girls swooning over him, and we get to see this utter disgust from Denji after Miri asks him to just get rid of them. And I'm sure we can all guess that Denji is just completely rubbed the wrong way with this one, because him being asked to get rid of them, especially when that is basically Denji's dream as of right now. Like, the dude, all he has ever wanted is to just be popular with the ladies, and right now he's seeing that happen in front of his eyes, and the dude just doesn't want it. He's, get the fuck away from me. I don't want you in my space. But we fast forward a little bit here, and we see Denji is on the roof with Fumiko, who is using Denji as a chair, and I wonder if Denji is being paid for this, or if he's just doing it for free, because Fumiko admitted to liking him within the previous chapter. But Fumiko tells Miri that she's actually part of the public safety sector, which, much to his dismay, and I can't help but notice Miri's and Denji's eyes being drawn in a way that's like similar to baggy, and it feels like Fujimoto was being a bit on the nose about them having, both having been used by Makima and just generally being pawns to her. We get to see Miri touching on this a little bit later on into the chapter, but Miri goes on to call himself and others the weapons, and mentions how they also walk with the Church of Chainsaw Man here, and it got me thinking, I wonder if power might also be involved with these so-called weapons and be involved with the church, and may have made a secretive appearance. I mean, is possibly seeking out Denji, even though she doesn't have the memories of her former life, and maybe the devil does. I'm not too sure, but maybe this is just like copium from my side. But what do you guys think? Would you guys think that would be the route that Fujimoto would take, or do you think that would be a bit too easy to see power back in the series? Maybe I'm just holding on to copium, but the fact that the sword guy is here, you know, the copium is very strong right now. But Miri goes on to tell Denji how there are seemingly only good benefits for joining the Church of Chainsaw Man, that he'd get as much money as he likes, and he could eat steak every day, to which Denji's ears obviously perk up. I mean, come on, the dude loves himself some good food. But this is where Denji and Fumiko have a little moment of them two talking about the food they also like, talking about sushi and parfaits, and Denji mentioning how he would never get tired of Chinese food, which is where Miri then both calls them idiots, and tells them that is actually not the point. But this is where Miri gets serious, telling Denji that he should understand Miri spent his whole life being used as a tool by worthless bastards, and he heard that it was actually the same for Denji, and you and I, we both know that is more than true enough. Makima fucked this dude up incredibly, with Denji looking at him and Miri saying, see, that look says bingo, and Denji also shouting out bingo, and I can't help but laugh and notice the irony that Denji is agreeing to what Miri is saying while also being used as a useless tool. The dude is currently being sat on right now by someone who is using him as a chair, and the irony of this whole sequence is just so on the nose. And I really like the fact that even though Miri is in the same boat as Denji, he doesn't actually question this until a little bit later on into the conversation. He kind of just sort of glazes over the fact that Denji is being used as a chair right now. Fumiko interrupts and mentions and says how Miri has changed schools to essentially recruit and use a recruitment pitch here, and questions whether Miri might actually be used by someone else. And you can see that this actually visibly rattles Miri here, going from being confident and himself to now stuttering over his words and saying how finding Chainsaw Man being used as a chair just doesn't sit right with him. No pun intended. But Denji then justifies himself by saying how he's happy with his normal life, and this was his dream, and I really like that little detail because Denji's saying it was my dream and not is currently my dream. It means the goalposts have now changed, and Denji's like sort of, okay, we have a normal life now, we're living the dream, but now there's something else, I want something more, and now it feels like we're kind of on the tip of the iceberg for Denji like wanting to admit that now. But Miro then storms out and tells him forget it, telling Denji how he didn't transfer here to recruit him, he actually just wanted to be a friend, and mentions how it's because Denji is the one that killed Makima and freed Miri. Just before he leaves, he actually mentions that it's too bad because he could have slept with all of the women he wanted to, which obviously Denji's reaction completely switches up because of course it does. But I do like the idea of these two actually being friends because it would be nice to see Denji interact with someone who has gone through the same sort of experiences as him, and it feels like this could be the start of a nice little bromance within the series, and I wouldn't mind seeing that, to be honest with you. You know, crossing fingers that Fujimoto doesn't just fucking do us all dirty. But Miri leaves through the door and Denji is already on the stairs where Miri is walking through, and Miri asks if Denji just teleported or something, and I couldn't help but think back to the time when Miri and Denji were actually fighting way back when in part 1, and Denji just moved extremely fast when he was fighting with the hybrids. So I wonder if there's like maybe like a little bit of a crossover there, but or it's just Fujimoto doing comedic effect, who knows. But Denji tells Miri how he's given it a lot of thought, I mean a whole lot of thought within the past like 2 seconds that apparently passed here between the door closing and him getting to those stairs, but he agrees that he was a tool and he wants to join the Chainsaw Man Church, and I can't help but feel how everything feels a bit too smooth, like it's all going too nicely for Denji right now, and surely something was gonna throw a spanner into the works here, and I can just feel it. Fujimoto, we don't normally get a nice little stretch of chapters here for Denji. Like, sure, it's been a little bit too long since something catastrophic happened. I can't say that word anyway, but overall I'm actually really enjoying Chainsaw Man again. It genuinely feels refreshing after that second reread I mentioned a couple of videos ago. It's definitely brought me back to the series a bit of a passion, I can't lie. Sometimes that's just all it takes to get back into a series. I kind of fell off it there for a while, but that reread and then boom, it's hit again. But that is everything from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's nice to be back and be covering Chainsaw Man again. But tomorrow I have a very, very special announcement for the 15k subscribers special, which is huge. We also have the JJK leaks tomorrow, bright and early. So yes, be on the lookout for those. And as always, I will catch you guys all in the next one. Much love, big kisses, peace.